Alright, I feel like I should just give up on talking about the whole schedule thing. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna try and get these blog posts out as soon as possible, but of course, it's clearly shows that I'm not very good at keeping to a schedule when it comes to these vlog things. It's not easy anyway because I have to dedicate a decent amount of time to just sitting here talking about it, whilst you know I don't know it takes up time and I have to be here talking the entire time rather than taking my time to type out a bunch of stuff. Um, as you can see from just this, I'm still using my laptop because I haven't finished that edit yet of the New York trip. As much as I'd really like to finish that, I feel like I won't be able to finish it before the end of this project, which is in like a few weeks' time. The thing is, as much as I like to finish that, I mentioned that everything I'm doing is a 3D it's a 3D model. Lots of 3D models. Unfortunately, I feel like so much of my time is going to be taken up doing these models because, well, it took like 2 days, something like that, to do the first couple of exports, which were of the logo. Just turning around, glitching out. I think this weekend I'm going to be doing the voice acting to go over everything. And more recently, I finished the model for the plasma weapon, and I've animated it, so turn around and there'll be a thing, so there'll be like a bull thing, which basically means cutting out something, which comes by and you'll be able to see the inside as it cuts into the whole thing in half. I started the render for that yesterday, like lunchtime I think. More like around 4 o'clock. It's still rendering, and it's been rendering all night. And this is for only one of the 4 videos. I think it's I would tab out to tell you exactly how far it's into it, but it's clearly over 50%, which means I'm 1/8 done at exporting this particular animation. It's taking a long time. I don't know whether at this rate I'll be able to even finish the 3rd model, which has the whole guy with the weapon. I don't even know if I'll ever get that far. Now, I'm gonna have to think of a backup plan in case I cannot finish the render for the 3D model. If this for the character model takes too long, my backup plan is to take the plasma weapon and using those renders, because I'm sure I get those done by the end of it, and I'm sure I could get them edited in. I think with that alone I'll have to come up with something, and it's just going to be a turning thing. So I think that's going to be a lot. Anyway, I think I've already done a lot of work, even just animating, making that whole model. I've already made a model of something that I've done lots of designs and research towards. It's just I feel like I'm not going to be able to finish the entirety of it within the set amount of time I have. What I think I will do is, I think I'll be recording the lines for the original project in case I do get it all done by the end. But I will also record alternative lines of dialogue, which will only cover the plasma weapon. It won't talk about the background information. It will just explain what the weapon is and the technology behind it. So, unfortunately, I won't be able. Like I said, this is my backup plan. If I can't get everything I wanted to do done originally, I will limit myself to only having the animation of the plasma weapon, and I'll have that looped. And between the dialogue I'll have recorded, I will also have. I'll just lower the brightness on the plasma weapon as it spins for a little bit before it loops again. So that'll be the bookend. Sorry, I'm feeling nasally. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze at any moment. I've got a plinth painted black using spray paint. I was told by my tutor that it was the worst paint job they've ever seen. Rest assured, it's all black. It's just, I think some parts just look darker than others, which means I don't think I equally layered it properly. I apologise, that must not have been pleasant for anybody. But at least, yeah, I don't feel like I'll be impeded anymore. So, I've been doing some research. I think I'll have to keep doing this research on my dad's computer because I don't want to put extra stress on my laptop as it is, because I mentioned it's taking so long to render. That's also where I'm going to be recording these lines, because I have my own microphone. I think it's a toner cadencer, I believe, and it's like goldy, and it comes with a red wire, and it comes with a little black tripod. Problem is, my laptop, it doesn't have a microphone jack. I know it's a stupid design flaw. It's like the opposite to what Apple did with their smartphone and the headphone jack. But I have checked my dad's Mac. It does have a microphone jack, so I'll record all the lines on there. It'll just be easier to be able to do that, because although I do have this little USB thing which it comes with two little jacks, one for headphone, one for microphone, which will allow me to get a microphone adapter for it. I don't really trust my USB ports because they can be tiny bit dodgy sometimes to keep in sync. It'll keep plugged in. So this is that. I think I already mentioned before that with the holographic projector, I am going to ignore my old design, which was to have the corner pins and have the exchangeable projectors. I'm just going to have the top bit and a tray, which essentially is all you really need. I have my acetate. I have my template, which I showed off weeks ago. I just need to cut those out. Thing is, I just want to be sure what I'm doing, because I understand that imagine a pyramid, like a regular one, not a massive Egyptian one, but there is an image on each side. But because of how physics works, there's always a big flat landscape right on top of this pyramid at the tip. So either you look down at the side of the pyramid, which makes sense, but you've got this balancing top, which essentially, if something happens, it'd be a disaster. Or you have the opposite, which means although the landscape is on its back and it'll be a lot safer, if you want to see what's on the four sides of the pyramid, because you can the image you want to see on this pyramid is not available on the bottom of the pyramid, you would have to raise it up and then look underneath it. Now, considering that, that is essentially the problem I'm having and thinking more and more about with making the holographic projector, because with the first scenario I just explained, it'd be a lot easier to look down on the pyramid, but of course there's the iMac should be balancing on top, and it would just be no end of risk. Maybe not balancing, but it's still something heavy up high. Or I could have the opposite, but I would have to have this holographic projector somewhat high. But what I've been thinking about is manipulating the size behind it, and if I were to make the pyramids taller, I'm thinking, what would that change? Would that work? I think one problem I'm having is I've thought about this and I've seen lots of videos, and the angles are usually always the same. So I don't think I can make it any taller than it already is. So I was talking to my tutor, Chris, and I've got two different versions of this projector. One of them is using the acrylic sheet to its fullest, not the acrylic, an A3 sheet to its fullest. So the longest edge is the longest edge of A3. Then there's my version where I explained this ages ago. I had at the moment, it's a tad broken because it was just a rudimentary small acetate holographic projector, which was meant for a smartphone. And what I did was I put that on top of a particular video and on my phone, and I am using a particular frame in the video. I took notes of where the corners of the little square were on was on the holographic pyramid, because it doesn't exactly have a tip, it just has that cut off. So using those four little indicators in this particular part of the video as here are the corners to this little square, I went to an actual iMac, loaded up the same video, went to the same part of the video, and using those same indicators, I measured how big the square was, and with that measurement, I just figured out where the rest of the holographic pyramids looks like, and it's not as big. So I feel like it's going to end up being trial and error, but I didn't have to pay for the acetate sheets at college, which means I can trial and error it as much as I like. Well, not as much as I like, but I'd be able to try it out multiple times. So there's that. Not long ago, Kirsty, one of my tutors, she made I had a pretty good positive reaction, because she was talking about most of you students don't have a reflective blog or vlog yet, and then she used me as an example and said that, just do what Henry does. He just talks and explain what he's doing, and it's just, from what I heard, although she wasn't being in depth, she was using me as an example so everyone else were to follow it, which frankly in lots of cases, especially in let's see, that one musical called Dear Evan Hansen, the example doesn't exactly have to be true. I'm not entirely sure what I'm talking about. Watch Dear Evan Hansen. It's a musical. I've heard the story and I really love it, but it's a perfect case of using somebody as an example and learning from it positively, even though that may not be true. So, yeah. It's not really such directly influencing my project, so it's not something I'm going to go into depth about at all. Ouch, my back hurts. I am leaning against the wall. Oh, my shoulder blades are killing me. So, overall, I'm happy that she's happy, my tutor, with my vlog so far, so just realised that post is off. Anyway, I can't think of much else to talk about. With the minimizing of the complexity of my holographic projector design, I won't be using neither the trackball, which still hasn't come to the post yet, or the keyboard I bought for it, which is a shame because it would have been interesting, but well, it won't bother me that much. At least I got a free keyboard out of it. Well, not free. Anyway, can't think of anything else to say, so I'll stop this, get onto Photoshop, make the thumbnail. Well, this video is being uploaded to YouTube. Then when that's all done, I'll send it over to Tumblr, and I'm gonna go for a while on